Hello, I wanted to come on here and welcome you to lecture test 3, which is going to be over chapter 5. Now, this particular lecture test is only over one chapter. It's only going to be over chapter 5, which is our very first organ system. It's over the integumentary system, which is going to involve the skin and the hair and the nails, as well as some glands. So let's just kind of take a look and look around and see what chapter 5 is going to be about. So check your due dates. Make sure you know when those due dates are. Again, depending on what class you're in is going to depend on what those due dates are exactly. So be sure to take a look at that. Just because you see it on this screen isn't necessarily the actual due date for your class. Let's take a look at the things to know. This is what you're going to need to know for this test. Again, it's only over one chapter, so hopefully it will help everybody's grades and give everybody a little bit of a grade boost there because you're only studying for one chapter this time. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this just a little bit there. So these are the objectives. We're going to take a look at the functions and structure of the integumentary, that should say system, as well as the organs that make it up. Anytime we start a new organ system, we're always going to talk about the functions and structure of that organ system. So that's pretty much always going to be the very first objective from here on out. Number 2, describe the structure and function of the 2 layers of skin and also the hypodermis. This should be a little familiar because you've already taken or are studying for that part of the lab test where we actually learned the basic 2 structures of skin, the 2 layers of skin. We're going to go a little bit more in depth though in the lecture class, believe it or not. And then you need to know the functions of each layer. That's objective 3. Objective 4, what is cancer? And identify the different types that affect skin. We're actually going to talk about 3 types of skin cancer. There's more than that, but we're only going to talk about the 3 major ones. And then number 6, how the skin helps regulate body temperature. We've been talking about that throughout the entire semester. So I've intentionally been bringing up body temperature to you guys. From day one when we talked about homeostasis. I used body temperature as an example. So hopefully this again will all be review, basically, not new information. So number 7, what are the factors that determine skin color? Now that one's going to be new. We're going to talk about that throughout the chapter. And then number 8, explain the rule of 9s and including the 2 ways that burns are classified. So when a patient comes in and they're burned, they're going to be, it's going to be identified as the breadth of the burn. So in other words, how much surface area of the body is involved and how deep the burn goes. So that's what that's talking about. I'm not going to show you any real pictures on that. I'm just going to show you some fake pictures. On that one, I will let you use a calculator on the test, so especially if you're on Respondus, the calculator option will be available. And then if you go to the testing center, you can use one of those. I don't really think you're going to need a calculator, but if it makes you feel better to have one, you're welcome to take a look at one, or you're welcome to have one when you take your test. And then number 9, the lifespan changes that affect the integumentary system. So if you all have ever been around elderly folks, I hate to call grandma and grandpa elderly, but if you've ever been around them or worked in a nursing home facility or something like that, or hospice, you already know the lifespan changes of the integumentary system. We're just going to actually put them in words. So I don't think this is going to be a big surprise to anybody. We're just going to officially state it. Now, what are some possible essay questions? One of them is name and state the 4 functions. Name and state the function of 4 types of cells found in the epidermis of skin. We're going to go over those 4 types of cells and their function, and so you just need to repeat those back. Another possible essay question is, now on this test, you're only going to have 1 essay question. Okay, so it's going to be one of these 3. Number 2 essay question is state the 3 types of skin cancer discussed and the characteristics of each, what layer of skin it comes from, and what cell type is affected. So again, we're going to go over that as well. And then number 3, the 2 main layers of skin from top to bottom, superficial to deep, including the sublayers of thick skin or thin skin. So as you go through the video, I'll explain that in one of the videos that we talk about. All of these 3 will be discussed in the videos. And if you want me to, I will be happy to look over. If you want to, write out your essay response, like you're prepping for the test, I will be happy to take a look at your essay responses prior to the test and see if you're on the right track and kind of give you a pre-grade, if you want to call it that. and give you an idea if you're on the right track or what you need to include or what you could leave off or something like that. So I'll be happy to review those essay questions, those responses to those essay questions, prior to you taking the test. And then, of course, we've got our word bits. So, y'all, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on these word bits. Most of these you're going to get as you move through the chapter. So, I would probably spend maybe 10 to 20 minutes tops on these word bits. And when you get through the entire chapter, that's when I would actually look at them and look and see, okay, which ones do I not already know? Because as we go through the chapter, we're going to learn a lot of these terms. So I would look at these after you go through and then just make a couple of flashcards on maybe the 5 or 6 that you're like, oh, wait, I don't remember hearing that one, or oh, that one's a little tough, and just work on those. Keep in mind, this is matching 2 sets of 5. So you should be able to process and eliminate a lot of this stuff. So I would not spend an inordinate amount of time working on this. I really wouldn't. Okay, so now let's go back. Well, you don't want electron configuration. Let's go back and take a look at more on the web page here. So you've got your notes. So these right here, you've got your notes for the test. There's only one set of notes. Y'all, when you're studying for this test, I wouldn't necessarily read the textbook. A lot of people are going through and they're just reading the textbook. Don't read the textbook. The textbook is there as a resource. So if you're struggling with content, I'm going through the PowerPoint, you're like, oh, I need some more information on that, I'm not quite clear on that, then go to the textbook and look it up. Don't start with the textbook. Start with the notes. And then again, I've got the videos on all of the notes here. So all of this information, I go over, and I have the PowerPoint up and we talk about it and we go through our in-class handouts, our packet there, and we go through all of this. I've also put on here videos or questions to all of the videos. So after you watch, for instance, Chapter 5 Objective 1 video, right there, after you watch Chapter 5 Objective 1 video, you could click on this and it pops up some multiple choice questions over the video that you just watched. This isn't for a grade. I do have the answers down here. So the answers are just kind of scroll down to the bottom of the page and it tells you where in the video it can be found. So if you're like, what, I didn't catch that, I don't know why that one's the right answer, you can go back and actually just look at that portion of the video again. So I've done that for every single video that's posted. There is some multiple choice questions. And I made them multiple choice on purpose because, again, that's how you're going to be tested. It's a multiple choice test. So if you go to the next one, this is going to be over the Chapter 5, Objective 2 video questions. Again, I've somewhere between 5 and 10 questions usually is what it is. But it gives you an idea, did I get what I was supposed to get? So you've got questions as you move through the video. Those are those in-class questions. And then when you get done with the video, there's another set of questions. None of that's for a grade. It's all to help you learn the material. And I want you guys looking this stuff up. Look it up. Because as you look stuff up to get the right answer, you're actually learning. That's part of the learning process. And then you've got some study materials down here. I've got some drawings. So the drawings that we create during class, I went ahead and uploaded them here in color. So that way you can see them if you want to, in case as you were drawing stuff, you're like, I'm not quite sure where that's supposed to go. So that's what those are. Looking to see. There's a Quizlet there. Again, I didn't make the Quizlet, so I just put it up there. You've got your Chapter 5 post-quiz, which is for a grade. The pre-quiz is not, but you can certainly take it if you want to. The post-quiz is for a grade. Keep in mind, you've got 2 hours to do that. Folks, the whole idea is why I gave you 2 hours is I want you to look the answers up. You do have one attempt. So again, look the answers up. Pause, go look them up on your phone, whatever. So the process of looking this stuff up is learning. That's actually how you're learning it. I encourage every one of you to take this practice test. Every test we have, there's a practice test associated with it. It is just randomized multiple choice questions. Now, I'm not giving you guys the test questions. So these aren't the test questions. You may see one pop up as a test question, but these are not your test questions. They are, so you can't memorize these answers. Your job is to memorize the content and say, okay, well, I understand oil glands, but I'm really struggling with sweat glands. Let me go back and relearn that. It's giving you an idea if you're trying to study where you need to focus your study. If you keep missing questions on the cells of the epidermis, then you need to go back and study the cells of the epidermis. So that's what that's for. And then once you've gotten all your studying done, then it's time to take your test. So you've got your test options up here as well. Again, there's only one essay this time for a maximum of 10 points. So again, if you don't take the essay, if you don't even do the essay part, the most you can make on the test is going to be a 90. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself in that kind of situation. So anyway, so lecture test 3 is up. I can see some of y'all have already started with that. As always, if you all have any questions, let me know. I am going to go ahead and show you all now the the handouts. As soon as that pops up there. Okay, here we go. So these are your lecture test 3 handouts. Again, you've got your date and time down here at the bottom where you can write that in case you need to. This is the things to know page, which we just went over. The pre-class notes, this is to kind of something for you to work on if you want to. Go through the chapter before we get started and just fill this out. I wouldn't say read the chapter. I would say go through the chapter and fill it out. These are, again, these are the cells that you're going to find in the epidermis. These are the layers of the dermis. This is stuff that you're going to be tested on, but this is the beginning level of that. You're going to be tested up here. This pre-class stuff is kind of your intro to the material. Okay, so when you watch the videos, it's not, oh my gosh, I've never heard any of this before. And then you've got your in-class questions. These we're going to do as we move through the videos, so be sure to have these handy. I do have some options here, some blank pages. They're really not blank pages. These are drawings, so we're going to fill this in together. I know it's a blank page. We're going to draw it together on the layers of the skin. And this is going to be one of your essay responses. Now, you're not going to draw your essay response, but I'm going to show you as I talk about this what you need to put down as your essay question when we actually work on this paper here. When you flip it over, you've got cells of the epidermis. We're just going to make a list of the cells of the epidermis. There's 4 of them. And again, this is also one of your essay questions. You can put that on this page. Hey, this is one of my essay questions. This is one of my essay questions. Then we spend a little bit of time talking about one of these special types of cells because it's a little bit more confusing than the other ones, and that's melanocytes. And this has to do with pigment, but it's also for protection. And so we're going to talk about that. And then the next page is skin cancer. This is also going to be one of your essay questions. So we talk about the 3 types of skin cancer. So you've got your handouts there that we're going to use as we move through the chapter. So hopefully you've got all the resources that you need to be able to be successful on this next test. So that's the plan. As always, if you have any questions, I'm in my office. You all have my office hours. And then you've also got access to 2 very awesome tutors, Miss Crystal and Mr. David. Again, depending on when this video was made, as of fall of 2024, we've got 2 awesome tutors. Check their times are on the welcome page or the getting started page there, or course information is on one of those pages on your Moodle page. So definitely get their information. Miss Crystal, I know you can send her emails as well. So if you can't get to campus, just send her an email and she'll respond that way. If you have any questions, just let me know. And good luck on the next test. Be aware of due dates. Don't let them sneak up on you.